Hello, everybody. Louise Eddington, the Cosmic Owl or Lumina of Cosmic Owl Astrology, astrologer, weaver, myth teller, and founder of the Spiral Weave. My membership for those of you dancing with the stars and threading new stories with your magic. You can join that either here or over on Substack. So, we have a Gemini moon coming with full psychic sound. Mercury, Sedna, Hygeia, Ceres, Saturn, and Neptune are all speaking in stereo, and Pluto is tuning the dial. So I'll walk you through the astro, I'll share the threads, and read 3 cards I pulled for you, which are something else. So I'll give you a glimpse of the cards. I pulled the King, I pulled the Prince of Cups, and I pulled the 9 of Blades. So if you're loving my work, please consider joining me in the Spiral Weave. It's where we get deeper, wilder, and more creatively free with astrology. So the link is always below. All right, so I'm going to share the chart with you briefly, and I'm quickly going to go over the numbers, and then we're going to dive into what it all means. So this is the new moon chart. The new moon itself is, here you go, is on May the 26th, 2025. Why is it defaulted to Salt Lake? Oh, well, it doesn't matter. It's on the same day anyway. So for some of you, it will be on May the 27th, actually, this full moon. So you can see where it is, but the degrees are the same. It's at 6 degrees Gemini, and it's a Mercury guided new moon, and Mercury is in the sign of Gemini on the new moon. It's also conjunct Hygeia, which is conjunct Sedna. So I'm just going to draw some lines quickly and we will talk about everything that's happening. So this new moon is forming a yod or finger of God to Haumea and Hekate over here from Saturn and Neptune. So you can see by this new moon, Saturn will have moved into the sign of Aries just 2 days before. Remember that Saturn will move back out of Aries on September the 1st for just over 4 months, and will move back into Aries finally early next year. But Saturn and Neptune are in this supportive aspect of opportunity to Hygeia and Sedna over here, and Mercury, I'm going to say, because Ceres is here too. And all of this fire and air here is pointing at Haumea, which is creatrix, and Hecate, which is the way shower. I'll come back to that in a minute. Now, also, this new moon energy, because it's so close to Mercury and all of this, is also forming an air trine to Pluto. So we'll look at all that for you. And one other thing is that Chiron and Eris will be at the same degree here of Aries. And so we'll look at all of that. So the aspects are quite powerful. I will say that this conjunction here of all of this pile up at early Gemini is giving a little indicator of what the ongoing mini grand trine between Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus will bring over the next few months as Uranus moves into Gemini, because we can see this mini grand trine here. So I'm going to stop the share. Now, first of all, I do want to say that this is a 6-degree new moon, and this is the mother of all numbers. It deals with familial responsibilities, keeping people together. It's about sacrifice, healing, protecting, and teaching others. The 6 really is the mother. It's very caring and sympathetic. Yes, it's one of the so-called divine feminine numbers, right? And so we can see it in its curvature. The 6 is all round and everything, which is really lovely. But it's a working building number as well, though. It's responsibility and it's service. but in that kind of loving union kind of way as well. So it's domestic, it's the teacher, it's conventional, the protector, the healer, the idealist. All right. So this is the six, feminine and extrovert, related to, incidentally, to the star sign Virgo, where the South Node is, and the planet Venus. And the tarot card is the Lovers, which is the Gemini card. Oh, in the tarot, you cannot make this stuff up. So let's go in and talk about the astrology a little bit, first of all. Then I'll come back, I'll read you the symbols, and then we will go to the cards. Okay. So this Gemini new moon, it really is a stellar symphony. There's so much going on. Because the new moon is conjunct Mercury, Sedna, and Hygeia, this really is asking us, what story do you speak over your body, over your mind, over your truth? With Mercury in its home sign, your voice is your wand with this new moon. Be careful what you cast. Words matter. Mind magic matters. What you think, what you're putting out in the world matters. Sedna and Hygeia whisper, healing won't always look pretty, but it will sound true. And then we have this Aries stellium of Saturn, Neptune, and Ceres, which are in this opportunity aspect, a sextile, to the moon. This Aries triad is holy fire. Ceres as the rebel nurturer, Saturn as the architect of beginnings, and Neptune like a myth in the making. These three are asking you, what are you learning to believe in again? Where are you willing to start over without illusion, but still with hope? Saturn in Aries gives us a first flash of what self-responsibility really means. Not guilt, not pressure, but power. Then we have Pluto in Aries, which is making this really air grand trine to the new moon and a sextile to the Aries collection of planets. This is a collective frequency work. Mercury trine Pluto says if you've been afraid to speak something, now is the time. It's like we're sinking to a new grid of honesty, innovation, and emotional courage. And Pluto's message is saying, don't edit yourself out of your own future. Now, a lot of this coming together, all this fire and air in this mini grand trine, is really going to bring a lot of news as well, a lot of crazy kind of news and information coming out. But that will inform all your choices and your decisions, because Gemini in itself is ultimately about choices and decisions and coming together in unity, right? But then we have that yod, that finger of fate, finger of God, pointing at Hekate and Hygeia. This is a fated message, a turning point, and a whisper at the crossroads. Hygeia is regeneration, and Hekate is threshold. Together they say you cannot skip the gate, but you do get to choose which one you walk through. This yod makes this healing sacred. It says you are not lost, you are being rerouted or rooted. Then we have Vesta at 6 Scorpio in this aspect of adjustment to the actual new moon itself. Vesta is the inner flame, and Vesta is saying, what fire are you keeping alive, even if no one else sees it? There's devotion here, awkward, raw, and utterly necessary. Gemini asks the questions, and Vesta demands you live the answer. And in Scorpio, that's in your inner power and embodiment. So I'm going to go to the symbols first of all, and then I will try and spin it all together. So the Sabian symbol for this new moon, we always go up, so we go to Gemini 7, is an old-fashioned well. Now, what do you do with water, right? You actually kind of turn the wheel and bring up water in a bucket. And water is very much related to the sixth and the divine feminine. And the energy of the six is very much of this kind of well in many ways. But this is kind of a symbol of the unimpeachable source of life on the sense of personal self renewal and integrity. Um, Mark Edmund Jones said that the key word for this one is recompense. And when positive, the degree is absolute self reliance and uncompromising faithfulness. When negative, it's insensibility and ineptness in all human contact. Well, I think we can kind of put some names to that one. But the essence really of this old-fashioned well is trusting in life and relying on nature. Okay. And so that's very of the six itself as well. So going to the Chandra symbol for this. Oh, I missed my page. Bear with me a second. To John Sandbach's symbols for this one too. So we're going to Gemini 7 yet again. All right. So we're going to start with the Omega symbol. Poetry which sounds beautiful but makes no logical sense. And so, logic sometimes there is just doesn't cover everything. There's always a higher logic or a different logic, kind of that second attention or that kind of intuitive self, that more creative kind of energy or emotional intelligence, we could say. And this moon, whilst it being in Gemini, which is very mercurial ruled, is saying something here about don't forget to listen to that other side. Don't forget to bring in that sense of not linear logic, but bringing in the intuition and the common sense as well. And the Chandra symbol for this is a table comes to life and runs away. Um, he says, well, I'm just going to tell you what I think this is about. He says this is about giving up all expectations and either letting things be the way they will be or experimenting with them in new and often unorthodox and unexpected ways. Okay. So really, yeah, it's, all these expectations and rules and guidelines and control and things, we're having to let go of all this, right, as we step into this new paradigm. Okay, so let me go back to the cards. So we in the King. Where's the King? The first one. I am powerful. This card keeps showing up within good reason. This isn't domination power. This is soul alignment power. This is your inner throne reclaimed. And this card says maybe you're the one you've been waiting for after all. And the Priest of Cups. I am dark. This says I am devotion. This isn't dreamy. This is emotional integrity. This is being faithful to your depth and not just your desires. And then we have this. This is not such a happy card. This is I am darkness. And this card does tell the truth. There's fear here, grief, maybe shame, but also power in naming it. We're not skipping the hard part here. We're weaving through it blade by blade. And I'm going to say, because this is an air card and this is a Gemini new moon, a lot of it may be the words you hear or the words you tell yourself, your kind of inner voice, your inner Mimi self as well here, that brings up the fear, the grief, the shame, and the words. But it's good to acknowledge them and weave your way through it, as I said. So really, the kind of whole new moon with this Gemini and this fire and air of creative ideas, but also very transformative. And to go back over some of the keywords that I gave you, this is really tuned up. This is very noisy full moon, by the way. Okay, so a new moon, sorry. But it's all about words, and be careful what you cast and about what words you're thinking, what words you're saying, what you're putting out there in the world. More importantly, the one about your self responsibility. And that power from paradigm, not power over paradigm. We're all being asked to step into this power from and saying, yes, I can build this power from, I can do it in baby steps, not be reliant on anybody out there to look after me, to be my big daddy, to control, to, do it all for me. We are being asked to really take this self responsibility and this emotional courage. Okay. There's so many things that keep pointing to this. So there's a closing reflection I wrote here, and then I'm going to kind of sum up a little bit. What are you devoted to, even when no one claps, no one listens, and the world seems loud with other noise? What do you say to yourself when you think no one's listening? That's the spell. So that's the Gemini moon. One part invocation, one part choice, one part spell work through the cells. If this stirred something in you, cells that was, join the spiral weave where we don't just talk astrology, we live it. We have an Ask Me Almost Anything call every month on the first Thursday of the month. So that one will be coming up on June June the 5th. But we have other little bonuses too. And then we have tarot spreads, we have threads of wisdom, and a place to be weird on purpose. But may this new moon give you the words and the will to speak your becoming into being. For now, good night.